Good morning, guys. So the time is now quarter past 6 here in London. It's a really big day. The nerves are starting to get here now. So I grew up on the countryside in Denmark, which was a little bit hard. No, that's a lie. It was really hard. I was like the only gay in the village, as it were, being Dame Edna fabulous, in a very small town. I remembered very vividly, and I don't know why, but I remember one morning when I was cycling into school, that I had this whole mental conversation with myself, about whether or not I was one of, these people that were born in the wrong body, where like the internet was barely in its infancy. There wasn't that much information about it, especially in rural areas. So I dismissed it in a way, and kind of just not agreed, but settled with being gay being gay. I was never completely in the gay box, if you will. Like, I always stood a little bit out. I was always a little bit on the verge of it, but it wasn't until I moved over here that I started to like act on it. In a way, mentally, I had a lot more freedom, and I didn't have to fight any fights, because it was just I quickly realized that over here you're purely hired on your skills and your CV, and not so much your look, where it's very opposite in Denmark. And that's a big thing, because it made it a lot easier for me to be a little bit more outrageous and a little bit more flamboyant, and staying true to myself while still have a decent job. I kind of made the decision that my body is my temple. It's very much under construction. It was only half built when I got it. It's not perfect. I am very much aware of that. But I don't have a need for hiding my body away, or I don't see my body as my enemy. But yeah, like, bottom line is you feel that you're stuck in, like, you feel that the gender you're born with is not the gender that you want to express yourself as. I've always been aware that I wanted to have the surgery. I've never questioned that, and I'm still not questioning it.
So most people coming to surgery are requesting removal of the testes and the penis, because that's what's making them gender dysphoric. And then we've got to do the reconstructive surgery, and they'll usually, but not always, request to have a vagina made. The tube that they pee through, the urethra, that's shortened so it comes out naturally where it should in a female, above the vagina. And then above that we're able to make a clitoris by salvaging a piece of tissue from the tip of the penis with its nerve and blood supply. And then we have to form the labia on the outside, which complements the cosmetic appearance. And that can be slightly variable, and it's part of the conversation that we have with patients before surgery, so they get a clear expectation of what happens. There can be negative outcomes, and that's part of this, and the individual's got to feel comfortable with their decision that even if it didn't work as well as they were hoping for, that they'd still feel that was the right decision for them.
About 15% of every trans woman that has this surgery end up having no feeling whatsoever or having pain when they're having sex. It's a big number all of a sudden, but then if I think logically, well, that means that 85% of all of these surgeries have a good outcome.
And what are you most looking forward to then? I know it's a tough road after the surgery and the healing and everything like that.
I don't know. Having a stick in the cave? Good morning. So this is the day. This is Friday. It's about 6 o'clock. It's a lovely morning. I hope you can see it. We're leaving the house in about an hour to go to the airport, where I'm going to meet the guys to do some additional shooting before checking in. And yeah, flying to London. It's going to be great. I like to think that I'm not hiding nerves, but I probably am. I'm probably gagging myself by the time I'm being admitted to the hospital. I'm like, shit, in 24 hours I'm going to wake up with a vagina. The whole process of me, losing my parts, if you will, it's a process that's been going on for many, many years for me. And personally, I've never had a use for it. Like I've never seen it. Yeah, it's never been useful to me in a way. Like I've never, if you will, I've never been the active. I've never been the top. It's just a thing that's been there. And if it wanted to be played with, that's great. I'm happy to play along on those lines. But I've never actively had a use of it. I have very little experience with a vagina. It's very close to zero, actually. I think that's what I really look forward to. Getting to re-explore my temple, getting to re-explore my body. And not having to talk anymore. Hey guys, so I'm at the hospital. It's about 3:30 and I am waiting on being admitted in, which is great. I'm now admitted. This is the room. So that's my bed, and there's 2 other beds there, which is nice. I have no idea if anybody else is gonna stay there, but time will show. Still not really any nerves here. I'm sure it will come tomorrow at 1 o'clock when I'm being put under. Good morning, guys. So the time is now 6:15 here in London. It's a really big day. The nerves are starting to get here now. Yeah, they're definitely kicking in now. I can't lie about that. I have been fasting since fucking 6 o'clock this morning, and I'm dying for coffee, and I can't. Can't even have a glass of water. I've seen the anesthesia nurse. She's really lovely. I've seen my surgeon again, where we just went through it. And yeah, it's just a matter of waiting. When I woke up on the Monday, I didn't really feel anything because I was so heavily sedated, and I didn't have any pain or anything. I don't think I started to feel the difference until I think until kind of when my packing inside came out, all I knew was that there was some pain, but that was it. Like I had no idea, how it looked, all of these things. I had no idea. I had heavy bleeding, which is not unusual, but it's not super common either. But yeah, so I had to have I had loads of bleeding. My compression got changed like 3 or 4 times. And it ended up with me having to have extra stitches. But yeah, once they stitched me up and they gave me that, there wasn't really any more bleeding.
People are in hospital for a week, which is quite long nowadays. But they have to have a pack to support the vagina to allow it to stick down and heal. And then when that comes out, they have to use acrylic dilators to stretch the fresh wounds, which is uncomfortable and difficult for them, but they're taught by specialist nurses. And then they can usually go home 2 days after the pack has come out. And then they've got, a 10-week recovery period. And obviously everyone's different. And some people seem to recover really well and they're fine at 6 weeks. Others may take a little longer.
If you don't dilate, it means that the wound will shrink up because it's still an open healing wound. So essentially it's a lovely two different sizes state-sponsored dildos. They're roughly the same length, but they're different in size. One is like kind of that size, and one is like that size. You can feel you're expanding your body in a way. So it's this pressure feeling that you're shoving something up that might be just a little too big for it. And then keeping it up there for 15 minutes, and it's not like you're not in and out. You're shoving it in, and it stays at the same place for the small one 5 minutes, the big one 15 minutes, and then you slowly, very, very carefully, slowly taking it out. Because if you don't do it slowly, it can take out the whole yolk with it. I wouldn't say that I miss my penis. I've had 28 great years with my penis, but now I'm gonna have, just longer with something new and fascinating that I'll be able to enjoy just as much. I don't see it as I've lost something. I see it as I've gained something. I've got something new that I'm now, I'm not ready, but eventually I'm gonna be ready to explore, to work with it. I wasn't aware that I needed a mirror, and apparently hospitals don't have handheld mirrors, so I didn't see it until I got to this apartment. But yeah, it looks great. From the limited experience I have with these things, it looks very natural. The best part is still having a tingling sensation between your legs when you see a handsome guy. It's hard getting used to it, because you still have your body healing, and then you're throwing in some hormones, and it's not, it doesn't fudge it up, but it's just something extra that your body then needs to, work on and process in a way.
There are ups and downs in the weeks after surgery because the patients have to come off their estrogen hormones because it increases the risk of clots, which can be really dangerous. So that emotionally can be quite challenging. They can start again 3 weeks after surgery, but and that's 3 weeks when you're in quite a sensitive emotional state. Some people are so thrilled, that finally, because there are delays, finally they've achieved what they've been hoping for a long time and are ecstatic, and that stays. Other people realise that there's quite a bit to go in terms of healing, and some folk, it's so exciting, it's like being after Christmas, that you feel a bit flat and not so good.
I am kind of feeling low in a way, because it has been my overall goal and my only goal for at least the past 5 years, and I reached it now. I'm happy about that. I am delighted and thrilled and whatever you have to describe amazingness. But that being said, and that lasted a certain, like, that lasting a certain while, it, I still need to, I'm 28, I can't live the rest of my life being high over getting a vagina. Like, it's not that the dream is burst, the dream has certainly come true, but you're on the other side now and you're like, what do you want to do? What's gonna happen next? Where are we going from here? Believe it or not, one of the things that me and my grandmom has talked a lot about is, what does one call oneself when they're out of this type of surgery? I think I'll always stick to the trends. Always stick to working it in somehow. I feel that it's a lot easier and to a certain degree a lot more honest to be upfront of having a past as a trans. If we wanted kids or something, that they can understand and that they grasp, why it is that I can, push a baby out of my vagina. Mental wise, I don't feel that I've changed much in terms of behavior or the way I handle things or process situations or whatever. It's never been, that thing where I've been thinking I need this, otherwise I'm not a whole human being. I'm all of a sudden like everybody else, I can start having, if you will, normal dreams or normal ideas or normal hobbies or whatever that I haven't had before. I've always been conscious that this surgery here is, it's not a life-changing surgery. It's not something where I'm thinking, yes, I can now finally be, me in me. I can now finally relax. I can now finally act as the person that I always feel I should have been able to act and be. That's not who I want to be, and that's not who I've been. Nothing of that has changed just because I have a vagina. When I'm out on my morning walks with my dogs, I sometimes used to take a quick wee in the forest. And I've caught myself a few times, opening up my trousers and I'm like, there's nothing to pull out here. There's nothing here. And I've said this to numerous people. I'm like, the only regret I have with this bloody surgery is not being able to stand up and pee anymore.